What's up guys, welcome back to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe today with a video that some of you requested. I know that this is something that a lot of YouTubers often say, but this time it's actually true. So a while ago, I think a couple months ago, I made a video called an episode in English. And it was actually very successful. I didn't really think that was going to happen, but a lot of you seem to like it. And I've since been asked time and time again to make a second episode, and some have even requested an entire stream in English. I think I already gave you reasons why I'm not going to do the latter. I'm not going to have a full stream done in English because that would only attract viewers from other countries that would otherwise not be able to watch my content. Or they would be able to watch the content, but they wouldn't understand it, so it wouldn't really make a lot of sense. But for a video like this, I think it's okay. Especially since so many of you asked me to do a second part. So, what I want to talk about today is my start in the new semester. Because it has been, even though it's only been a couple days, it has been a war zone. And it's interesting because I thought things would go a bit, well, let's say, more relaxed. But let's just start at the beginning. That's always a good idea. And I just hate these trees here. Okay. Terrorism exists in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe as well. Well, this semester, it's my third semester now, and you might believe that at this point I am now fully accustomed to life at university and how it works and, you know, what I have to do and all that kind of things. Well, the reality is a bit different. Turns out that is not really the case. In fact, things get even more confusing the longer you stay at university, which is weird. But let me explain. So, I told you guys before, I think in a stream or in a video, that at university you have to create your own schedule as well. So it's not like in school where your class or your, your class gets like a timetable with all of your subjects in it, you know, saying, okay, in your first lesson on Monday you have, let's say, German or something, and then after that you have English and then history, whatever it is. That doesn't really happen at university, at least not here at my university. Instead, they offer you a range of different classes and courses, and you have to select the ones that you need. So there's a list called the module list, and in that module list you can see which courses and classes you have to take, and you can also see what you have to do in those classes to get so-called credit points. And you need those credit points to be accepted into your bachelor thesis. So at the end of your studies you have to write a bachelor thesis, and in order for the university to say, okay, you can write a bachelor thesis now, you have to reach a certain amount of points. And all the points that you collect in those classes add up to a total number, and that is then the number that you need to reach for that limit. The problem is that in order to complete the studies in what is called the recommended time, or like in German it's called the Regelstudienzeit, so it's the time that they basically say, yeah, that would be optimal. Managing your studies in that amount of time is tough. So when I joined university, they told us that below 10% or less than 10% of all students in the Department of Linguistics actually achieve that goal to stay within that Regelstudienzeit. Less than 10% of all students, which is not a lot considering that the faculty, I think, has like 5,000 people or something. So yeah, it's not a lot, but still I wanted to try it because of course I don't want to be a student for the rest of my life. Instead I want to have a job at some point, and for that of course I need to have completed my studies. But the fact is that at this point, now that my third semester has begun and that I've kind of, accepted my fate, I can basically say that I won't be able to complete my studies in my Regelstudienzeit. I will still try it, but the problem is this. The problem is not the difficulty. The problem is not the workload. It's not, too much work that I have to do, or it's not enough time. That's all cool. It's all cool. But one thing doesn't work out, and that is actually getting a place in all of these classes that I need to take. Because for some classes, they offer you, let's say, 5 variants of the same class. Let's say one is on Monday, one is on Tuesday, one is on Wednesday, and 2 are on Friday, for instance. And they are all with different professors and, at different time slots. And they do that to offer a wide variety so that the maximum amount of people can get into one of those classes. Because, it also needs to fit into your schedule. If there's a cool class on, let's say, Monday afternoon that I want to take, but at the same time I already have another class that I also need or want to take, well, then I have to decide between the two. And in this case, offering those other options is really good. But there are classes that only exist once, or maybe twice, or maybe they even exist 3 times, but the amount of people that want to get into one of those classes might be so high that the chance of actually getting into it is extremely low. Let me give you an example. I have a class in my schedule that, let's say over 280 other people have that class in their schedule. So over 280 people want to take that class. Okay, that wouldn't be a problem if we were talking about a lecture, like a classic lecture. What you kind of imagine of university, people sitting in this huge halls that basically look a lot like a cinema, and then at the front there's someone talking and everybody takes notes. It wouldn't be a problem if this class was a lecture, because there's enough room in the lecture hall for 300 people. But in this case, it's not a lecture. The limit of people that can get into the class is 80. So 280 have it in their schedule and 80 can get in. And I am one of those 280s, and I do not have a place confirmed in that class yet. I will try to get in. English classes only start next week, so I don't know yet. But it's going to be, as I said, it's going to be a war zone. And this is a problem with linguistics departments here in Bielefeld in general. It's heavily understaffed, which means there are not enough professors, not enough lecturers, not enough people working there to basically offer as many classes as are needed. So it's always been that way. I remember my first semester, there was a class that had a limit of 40 people and over 120 showed up. And the ones that, came early enough, like I did, and who managed to get a seat in the room, they were accepted into the class. And all the others who did not come early, well, they were basically screwed. And of course that's bad for the people who are then not accepted in the class. But on the other hand, what should the professor have done in that situation? There was no way to fit 120 people in this room. No way. Also, even if, let's say there were 60 people and 40 can get in, even that would not have worked out, because there are special regulations saying that, only this and that amount of people can be in this room, due to safety regulations, and that, for instance, people are not allowed to sit in front of the door, so they cannot just go to another room, get a chair and then come back and sit down anywhere. That's not possible, that's not allowed. I understand why, but of course it's still bad. So the faculty is heavily understaffed, plus large portions of the university are currently under construction. They are being renovated, and well, let's just say that's also it's needed. But that also adds to the problem, because that way not only do you have don't you have enough lecturers and professors, but you also do not have enough rooms. Could you please make a stand? Excuse me? Okay. So not enough rooms, not enough lecturers, it's a war zone. And for some reason linguistics is, let's just say, heavily affected. Now, there's another problem that I have with this semester until this point. As I said, I thought things would be more relaxed. And the reason for that is a bit weird. As I said, there's a module list. And during the semester break, I looked into that module list. And I saw the things that I had to do in the semester. And I thought, okay, that's a lot, you know, but it's fine. It's manageable. You know, maybe I have to scale down on some other things, but to be quite honest, the last 2 semesters were really not very intensive in terms of work. Sometimes they were in between, but not. I didn't work my ass off. And I was still able to, you know, stream and make YouTube videos and play games and meet with friends and all those things. Even though there were, of course, times where I had to do a lot of work and it was quite exhausting, especially at the beginning of the second semester. I was completely exhausted. But that quickly, you know, it basically, the situation normalized, and after a couple of weeks you kind of get used to it, and that's fine. And I can work under heavy loads. I can do that. In fact, I need the pressure. I need the pressure to actually sit down and work properly. I need that. It's a stupid character trait of mine, but that's just how I work for some reason. I don't like it either. But so the workload wasn't the problem. I just thought, okay, that's not going to be very relaxed. But then all the emails were sent around. Yeah, we have now completed your the placement or place progress or process, I should say. So now all places and all spots in the courses have been booked, and everybody should have, hopefully all the classes that they need. And then of course I looked into my schedule, and the way it works is there are 3 types of arrows. If you get a green arrow in a class, it means you're in. If you get a yellow arrow in a class, it means you're on the waiting list. Then it also says, you are on waiting list spot number 23 or something. And if you get a red arrow, that means, nope, you did not get a spot, a place in that class, not even on the waiting list. And I think for 3 or 4 classes I had a red arrow. And I've never seen a red arrow before. Like, of course I knew what it was, but I had never seen it in my schedule. So I was a bit worried. And then I said, okay, you know what? If I don't get these classes, that at least means that my schedule and my semester is going to be a bit more relaxed than I initially anticipated. Which is good. I mean, come on. Well, I think, if it takes me, let's say, 1 or 2 semesters longer to study, of course that's not perfect, but I'm also not planning on completely, losing all of my energy and just work until I'm dead. That's not the plan here. So I thought, okay, you know what? Let's just do it. But now there are a couple other classes that I spontaneously got into, and some classes that turned out to be more work intensive than I originally thought. So, in conclusion, my expectations for the semester were off. They were inaccurate, and it is probably going to turn out the way that this semester is going to be the most stressful one yet. Now, here's the thing. That is not a bad thing per se. Because as I said, I can work under heavy loads. Maybe I have to scale down on some other things, but I think I could still manage, the YouTube channel and all those things. It's just, I think it will take some time for me to get used to university life again. I am motivated, and I gotta say, in the last couple of weeks, I did miss university a bit. Because it's also kind of nice. Even though sometimes it's a bit difficult, and sometimes you need to work a lot, but it's still a cool thing. So I was motivated for the new semester. Let's see how long this is going to be the case. Maybe in 2 weeks I will talk about it in the stream and I'll say, oh my god, I want to die. Maybe. Maybe not. I said the same thing at the beginning of the second semester, so... and that turned out really cool, so... let's just see. But, as a matter of fact... I'm already really hyped for at least 1 or 2 exams that will take place this semester that are going to be difficult. But at the same time, there's not that many exams in linguistics, so it's fine. It's fine. So the reason behind this video is I want to make this basically for myself also, for me to have a reference point. So in a couple of weeks or in 2 months or something, I can go back and rewatch this video and see whether my predictions were accurate or not. And that's always very interesting. And also maybe it gives you a different perspective on studies as well, because I oftentimes say that my studies are, not so difficult, it's relatively easy, which it is. It's just a matter of, how many classes do you get, and of course you also need to be interested in English. Like if you hate English, of course the studies would be extremely difficult for you, obviously. But let's just see how this turns out. I'd say thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video, then show me with a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Maybe write a comment about your thoughts on, I don't know, studying, on the part, on whatever it is. Thank you guys for watching, and tune in next time. Have a great day. Bye.